listening skills and grow your English vocabulary. Join me for a new episode every Friday where I'll give a short talk on a theme and explore a few interesting words and phrases for you. I remember when I was a kid, there was a popular nursery rhyme, a very simple traditional song for children that we all learned at school. It was about the Great Fire of London, which happened in the first week of September in the year 1666. The legend tells that the fire started in a bakery in Pudding Lane, and because most buildings at the time were made of wood, it quickly spread through the heart of the city. Terrifying stuff. Anyway, the words to the nursery rhyme went something like this. London's burning. Fetch the engines. Fire, fire. Pour on water. Simple images that even little kids could understand and repeated over and over. I can't imagine how scary it must have been to be in central London back then in 1666, while the fire was raging through the city, destroying major buildings like St. Paul's Cathedral. This week, London has been burning again, although thankfully not in quite so dramatic a way. Like much of Europe, Britain has been experiencing a heat wave for the last week. A heat wave is the name we give for a continuous period of unusually hot and dry weather. Heat waves were quite rare when I was a kid in the UK and were something exciting that we looked forward to. They meant long days outdoors, blue skies and endless sunshine. But nowadays they're becoming more and more common and more intense every time. New temperature records are being set on an almost yearly basis these days, and this year is no exception. For the first time ever, Britain recorded temperatures over 40 C this week. For many listeners in places like India and the Middle East, you might be thinking, what are you worried about? 40 C is a normal summer for us. Well, that's certainly been true in countries closer to the equator, the central line of latitude around the middle of the planet where the Earth's surface is closest to the sun. But believe me, it's not normal in the UK. My dad sent me a photo yesterday of the thermometer he has in his garden, showing a temperature of 41 C. Absolutely unheard of. Of course, it's made worse if your house doesn't have aircon, which describes most houses in the UK, come to think of it. Not surprisingly, there's a lot of common ground between the language of high temperatures and the language of cooking. We're not so famous in Britain for our cooking, but if there's one thing we do like to talk about, it's the weather. When things get really hot, you'll hear lots of phrases borrowed from the kitchen. Here are a few examples of the sort of things people say. It's absolutely boiling outside. Could you open the window? It's roasting in here. It's so hot when you step outside, it's like an oven. I think I need a cold drink. I'm absolutely baking. There is a very serious side to heat waves too, though. It's particularly difficult for elderly people who often forget to drink enough water and can end up overheating. We call that heat stroke, and one of the things we see a lot of during heat waves is people needing to be taken to hospital with heat stroke. Train tracks are also being affected as the hot temperatures cause the metal to expand. This leads to disruption and cancellation of train services while the tracks are inspected and repaired. To bring things full circle, another major danger is fire. I wasn't joking when I said that London was burning this week. The London Fire Brigade declared a major incident this week after being called out to fires in all corners of the capital city. And fire services all over the country have been busy putting out fires, both urban fires and wildfires. According to Paul Headley, the wildfire lead at the National Fire Chiefs Council in the UK, wildfires in the countryside are becoming more and more common every year. He says that warmer, wetter winters are causing more vegetation growth, which then dries out during these summer heat waves and can easily start fires. If these heat waves are going to become some sort of new normal for Britain's climate, we should expect more wildfires too. And it's not just Britain. Much of Europe is experiencing the same thing too. Temperatures in Portugal hit a record 47°C this week. And there have also been wildfires in France, Portugal, Spain, Italy, and Greece. So let me leave you this week with a question. What's been happening lately with the weather in your country? Are you also experiencing more heat waves? And do you have any tips for staying cool in a heat wave? Write and tell me what's going on. And don't forget to open a window. It's like an oven in here. Thank you for listening to Learn English with Tony. If there's a topic you'd like me to talk about in a future episode, just send an email to learnenglish.mobile